Hello there, and welcome to the Stories for Tomorrow podcast. We love chatting with interesting people with stories to tell. In each episode, we will be sharing true stories told by real people. We hope you enjoy it. This podcast is sponsored by Klokbox, a digital memory box of your life to be shared with future generations.
Hey, I know you're gone, the clock keeps moving on. I feel this.
Hello everyone and welcome back to this Stories for Tomorrow podcast. In this episode, we're speaking with Kamil, a successful entrepreneur that left his career ladder to dedicate himself to become a founder of a new startup. We're going to explore not only the driven professional Kamil, but also the son, father, husband, and friend Kamil. So, with no further ado, let's find out what's inside Kamil's time capsule.
The clock keeps moving on.
Hello, Kamil. I'm so happy to having the Stories for Tomorrow podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Larissa. I'm good, thank you. And I'm glad to be here talking to a lovely lady.
Thank you very much. So Kamil is our security advisor in Klokbox, and he's also the founder of Hotels, a booking service application. So Kamil, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you originally from.
Yeah, so I'm originally from India, North Part, Punjab. And I born and brought up there, did most of my education schools. And I moved to Ireland when I was 19 in 2001. And I continued doing my education for 6 years. I got a job in Google in IT, and this is how I started my corporate career. Work in tech companies pretty much, in Facebook for 5 years, Quantcast for another 4 years. And last 2 years spent in Maynooth University looking after information security. And lastly, I founded my own startup, Hotels.
That's lovely. So I'm sure that beyond the entrepreneur, Kamil, there is a son, a husband, and also a father. So going away a little bit from the professional, Kamil, do you have a favorite childhood memory to share with us today?
Favorite memory, I would say, when I was in India, I used to roam around a lot with my friends. And I had a transition period where I finished my studies and I was waiting for my move to Ireland. I had about 6 months where I didn't do anything. And I think that was one of the time where I felt like a free bird, no pressure of studies, no pressure of work. And I just, literally roam around with my friends all day long. We have breakfast outside, lunch outside, dinner outside. I would say that was probably the golden time of my life where there was no pressure from any aspect. And I really enjoyed those months before I get into, start working hard, study hard, and the life which I want to build myself, moving to Ireland. So I do recall those memories as the golden days.
That's lovely. Let me ask you now, if you ask your daughter, like the older one, she's 9 years old, isn't it?
Yes.
If you ask her, what's her favorite childhood memory, what would you guess she would say it was?
Her favorite childhood memory, I would say, probably, traveling to Norway more often to see her grandparents. She really likes spending time with her cousins in Norway and with grandparents, and she can speak and understand Norwegian very well, even especially living in an English-speaking country like Ireland. And playing in snow as well is her favorite activity as well. So I think she did spend a good bit of time in Norway on vacation, and I think she's looking forward to spending a month of summer this year as well.
That's lovely. It's definitely a memory to be collected.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So Kamil, the Klokbox all about sharing people's stories into time capsules. So whose time capsule would you like to receive?
I do like to receive time capsule from my mom. Just to give you a bit more personal aspect. My father passed away when I was 14, and my mom worked hard really to raise 4 kids. And I was, I'm the eldest one. And she do have a lot of memories she want to share from her experience of raising, kids at that young age. And I think that would, something I would like to get from her as a time capsule, and not just me, even with my siblings, right? That how she, struggled and, how she raised the kids in that tough time. And I think that's something which I personally think, would benefit me and my brothers and sisters to having, those memory capsules from her. And that's something, again, from my perspective, I want to share with my kids is the life I had in India and the struggle and the study and, the upbringing and how different the culture is as compared to, being, raised and brought up in India in, 80s and 90s to what is now a culture in Ireland. So I do want to share some of those memories, the cultural differences with my kids so that they can see where their father comes from.
Definitely, 100%. That's lovely. And something so important, isn't it?
Yes.
And I do understand myself because I'm not from Ireland and probably gonna have kids here. So it's definitely something very, very important. So Kamil, let's say we're creating a time capsule for you in Klokbox and the release time will be set for 50 years. So what would you clock in there to describe who you are?
So I'd be clocking to my kids, not my professional career, which is again, defined by how you operate with people around you, but I'll be more clocking for my kids, like who I am at a personal level. And the circumstances I come from, right, as I said, right, we had financial difficulties and, how we struggled to bring the whole family up and, get my sisters abroad and my brother abroad and, raise them in a way. I think it was a lesson we all learn as a family. And I will be clocking, some of those valuable lessons to my kids, right? That the struggle in life is real. Even though, you get all the comfort from your parents, you still need to define your own journey. And here is my journey in my, time capsules of the moments where I struggle. I, study hard. When I even come to Ireland, study for 6 years to, become what I am today. And, early days of my career where I learned quickly. I moved the ladder in my professional life to raise to a level where, we can be financially and economically stable, right? So I think those things are really important for kids to learn nowadays, that, you're not going to get the comfort you get from your parents and from your home. The world out there is very competitive and everybody is going after the same thing. So you need to raise your level. You need to compete with other people, and you need to be ready to, face those tough times. We call stress nowadays, but when I was in India, there was no word called stress. It was all about, fighting for it. So you need to up your game and you need to be strong enough to accept those challenges. And these are the stories I'll be sharing with my kids as well, that, be strong and don't be afraid to fail, because failure teaches you a lot of things. If you fail, you learn and you move on and you try again and again. That's how, I was brought up, and this is what I want to share with them.
That's lovely. That's very nice. And if I ask you, what was the most important thing that you've learned in life? What would you say it was?
Would you like to pass on your legacy for free? Sign up now for the 21-day story challenge and share your adventures, memories, wisdom, and life experience with future generations. Click the link in the description of this episode and start sharing stories, photos, videos, and audio recordings on the Klokbox app. This podcast is sponsored by Klokbox, a digital memory box of your life.
So, I'm close to be 40 in 2 months, and I took the brave move to, quit my corporate ladder and, well-paid job to start a startup. Thing I have learned in my life is that I don't want to regret after. I want to do which my heart and my soul is telling to do. And sometimes you need to have the right timing around. And I think I waited for a while to have the right timing and everything fall into place to have my startup. But the most important, the valuable lesson I would tell everybody is, if you want to do something, do it. Because if you don't do it, you're going to regret in the future that why didn't I do that thing, right? So even though there are risks involved, take that bold move and do it, because you never know that move is going to bring you to somewhere else, right? And maybe that would be the most important move in your life. You won't know the journey if you don't take the step forward, right? So my recommendation or my, advice to the listeners is, if you have something in your heart, don't be afraid, do it. You will enjoy afterwards.
That's lovely. That's very nice. Thank you, Kamil. Thank you so much. And I was gonna ask you as well, if you have a time capsule, let's say to your oldest daughter, would you have anything at all in a specific that you would like to give it to her in a time capsule?
I do like to share some of my old pictures. We don't have much, but sometimes we do like to, sit down and explore the pictures through our phone and go back to when they were born, and we just have a good laugh. So yeah. I think some of those pictures are so funny when, my kids are sometimes just hide their face that, oh, why did I do all these things, right? So yeah. I think those moments are good to refresh the memories and have a bit of laugh. I think those memories I do like to put in time capsule to be, shared over and over and, being watched over and over, because it's just reflect the good times, we had, and it's just give a crack out of it.
That's very nice. I love it. Love it. And thank you, Kamil. It was great. Really good to speak with you and get to know you in a more personal level, because we're always in the meetings, like very professional. And it's good to have you in a more personal level now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
You're welcome at all. I'm glad to be talking to you, Larissa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Stories for Tomorrow. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. This podcast is sponsored by Klokbox, a digital memory box of your life to be shared with future generations. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.